This video is called Controlled Vocabulary. Most databases allow you to search by keyword, words that you choose which seem right for your topic. So if you were searching for cat, you could type in cat, or if you wanted to be more scientific, you might throw in feline, or if you wanted to describe a certain breed or look of cat, you might say tabby, or if you wanted to talk about younger cats, you would say kitten or kitty. Broader terminology would be animal, for example. Or you can search by subject, which is using controlled vocabulary, which is a standardized labeling system that changes from database to database. Here we have the ERIC database, and the search term that we put up and that we're looking for to see what other search terms are related to it in ERIC, the descriptor details, the term we're using is critical thinking. So there we have critical thinking, and you can see there's a section called related terms. These are the terms that are considered most equivalent or most synonymous to critical thinking, and these are terms that are considered descriptors or subject terms in ERIC, and you can search by these terms as well and very possibly find related information. These terms attempt to describe critical thinking in another way other than just saying critical thinking. And that's what subject terms or controlled vocabulary do. They describe parts and portions and pieces of the record, or often, in most cases, what the record is about. Controlled vocabulary is a limited set of authorized terms or preferred terms created by the database creators, and they are used in indexing or classifying documents in an information system. They may also be used in searching for documents in an information system, and we will do subject searching or controlled vocabulary searching this term. Databases with controlled vocabulary use very specific terms for concepts when searching by a subject. A subject is what a thing is about. Databases often provide a subject list, which is their controlled vocabulary, and it can be useful to focus your search for relevancy. To retrieve relevant information, it's useful for the user to be aware of this special terminology. Also, please know that subject heading and descriptor are other terms used to refer to controlled vocabulary. In fact, specialized terms like subject heading and descriptor are controlled vocabulary for controlled vocabulary. Now that's really geeking out. Here's an example of everyday controlled vocabulary. The yellow pages use, believe it or not, controlled vocabulary. So you might think of a lawyer as somebody that you need to help you with a lawsuit or something, but yellow pages will refer to them as attorneys. Doctors are physicians in yellow pages. Construction supplies and building supplies are building materials in the yellow pages. And car repair or auto mechanics is automobile repair and service. Here's some examples of databases and their controlled vocabulary. We have the Library of Congress subject headings, which the Sims Library Catalog uses. Then you have the Education Resources Information Center, which we just looked at a few screenshots ago. And that's called ERIC. It has its own thesaurus of ERIC descriptors, which I showed you. And then there's the National Library of Medicine, which uses medical subject headings called MESH headings. Here's a picture of controlled vocabulary and subject terms in our library catalog. This is referring to the CiRCE Dynix catalog database. And as you can see, the controlled vocabulary are those subject terms that are showing up right there. Obesity in children, obesity in adolescents for this particular record. Now here's the same thing in Academic Search Complete. They have slightly different subject terms to describe this record, but you can see, based on the title, Children's Rights Perspective on Food Advertising to Children, that these subject terms are related and they are fairly accurate in describing what this record or this article is probably about. So, in a nutshell, controlled vocabulary is a means of controlling or standardizing the many variations in terminology to provide consistency in searching and classifying information. Let's apply what we know to show a quick way to subject searching. So earlier we said that a subject is what a thing is about. So if you do subject searching, it's a more focused search because it's looking for your search terms in those database fields that attempt to describe what a thing is about. And you'll have subject terms in each database record. But the subject terms or controlled vocabulary will change from database to database. How do you master this, you might be asking yourself, if things change around constantly? Well, here's what you do. Start with a keyword search, and then redirect your search by switching to the subject terms offered in the database record, those results generated by your initial keyword search. There are hundreds of thousands of subject terms and headings in the Library of Congress. There is no need to memorize them all. I certainly don't. So just start with a keyword search and work from there. Then look at the search results, open up records that look like what you're searching for, and then within those records, click on the linked subjects offered in the record. Linked subjects, like this, for example, children's rights, or advertising in children, or government policy, whatever. So here's a quick and handy little comparison chart of keywords versus controlled vocabulary. On the left we have advantages, and on the right we have the disadvantages. And I really want to point out to you that the advantage of controlled vocabulary is that it will provide you with suggested terms that you can either incorporate into your search, or you may just click on the linked topics and it'll go and redirect your search. The disadvantage about controlled vocabulary is that recently coined terms will not be included in the list of subject terms just yet. And also, if the database does not provide its own list of subject terms in a separate search feature on the database or a thesaurus, sometimes the controlled vocabulary may not be obvious. The advantages of keywords is that the keywords will retrieve items containing new terms that don't appear in the subject terms, or controlled vocabulary, and if you do not know the appropriate subject heading, the descriptor or identifier, you can conduct a keyword search first, as we just pointed out, and look for a relevant item within the records in the subject term fields. But you may also retrieve items that are not relevant to your topic. That's a disadvantage. In fact, that's kind of a big disadvantage with keywords, because it will often retrieve things that are perhaps not within the context of what you're looking for. So in order to retrieve more relevant terms, you need to use a variety of terms. So for example, to retrieve items about movies, keyword search might also want to include related terms such as motion pictures, cinema, films, and so forth. Just as we said that you might want to have overweight in addition to obesity, or maybe fat and overweight in addition to obesity, and so forth. That's it for now. Talk to you later.